Hey guys, according to the US apartment list, 5 large cities saw a decline in the median rental rates over the past 12 months. That's Baltimore, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Portland, and Seattle. They all saw rents decrease. No city or region of the country is safe from declining rents. And as landlords, we need to track our local rental market and make adjustments to maintain as high an occupancy as we possibly can. I mean, after all, it's how we make our money in this business. When the collapse and the resulting recession hit back in 2008, rent growth froze. And for some regions of the country, any increases were hard to push because people started looking for other means of housing. And it's also called the shadow market. In the shadow rental market, it exploded. The owners of new and empty houses and condos really they pulled tenants from traditional multifamily. And to be competitive against that situation, management needs to make retaining good tenants along with marketing to new tenants an absolute priority. When rents continued to fall in 2009 and 2010, there wasn't much to do in terms of increasing rent. The country was still reeling from the collapse. With such high vacancy, tenants had plenty of units to choose from, and they demanded bonuses and incentives, which appeared as a reduction in the price for rent. So fast forward to 2019. Depending on your region of the country, you could make small concessions to getting a renewal, such as like say $100 gift card or $100 Amex card, or maybe even a grocery card from Kroger's or Walmart if you get them to renew for another term. We usually do a choice of carpet cleaning or painting a room or even a small capital improvement like say a fan installation or something along those lines to get that tenant to stay. Any one of these things is far less expensive than turning a whole unit. And of course, dealing with the vacancy and the lease renewal costs in your property management as well. That's obviously cheaper to do that. This typically only works with Class C units as well. So you have to make sure you apply the strategy to the right asset class. Aside from improving the tenant experience and getting them to stay in the unit, here are 4 things to do when you think that your market rates are falling in your area. Number 1, verify that the actual rates are falling. Okay, look at your competitors in a 5-mile radius by taking a look at, say, Zillow or Cozy or one of these other rental meters, another one that you can look at. Have they reduced their rent over the past several months? Keep an eye on what the local market is doing is important. Not only if you think the rents are dipping, but also if they're increasing. One reason it could be is because maybe the competitors are making improvements to the property and you're not. Or maybe they're doing some sort of promotion, like maybe they're offering a free 40-inch TV as opposed to giving a 30-day free promotion, right? Which is obviously much less expensive to do a TV. If the landlord has a good tenant on the hook, they may cut the tenant a deal and give them an 18-month lease for a slightly lower rent. Depending on the asset class and what's going on in the economy, people will be more cost conscious. For instance, you can offer a $200 gift card as an incentive if gas prices are on the rise. And of course, there's always price charming, which is always something to keep in mind as people perceive a big difference between the numbers. If we say list something for $800 a unit versus $795, keep that in mind as you price your units. It's one of our cognitive biases is really to look at those sorts of things, and we perceive the numbers differently. So number 2, multiply your customer service. Taking care of your current tenant base is important to hold the line on vacancy. This means staying on top of service requests and the work orders. Rent growth is already a losing battle when your vacancy is on the rise. Don't compound the problem by slacking on the tenant requests. If you're using property management, something which I strongly suggest, they should be on top of these requests. You just need to make sure that things are actually getting done and make sure you're getting an estimate on whatever they want to repair before they go ahead and do that. Otherwise, they'll think they have a blank check. Number 3, build a marketing strategy. I put out a great deal of material on the various marketing tactics you should consider when you're targeting a given demographic. But you should also consider what your local market is doing and to pull those prospects in. So for instance, if you are in a heavily hit market with an oversupply of two-bedroom units, right, you may consider turning your two-bedroom unit into a one-bedroom by locking or sealing off a doorway to that second bedroom. Sounds crazy, I know, but some landlords actually do this. This tactic will get you some additional occupancy. You'll also consider maybe giving away 2 months free with a lease, with the first and last month of the lease being the 2 free months. You can also add basic cable or wireless internet for 6 months just to get them in the door as well. That's another tactic. And then even after that, if they want to continue either service, they can bill you for it, or rather you can bill them for it as an additional stream of income. And number 4, stress the urgency to your team. As the leader of the group, you need to communicate your vision to the property management and the construction team. They need to understand that the goal is full occupancy. You need to outline the plan for the team at large so they understand that keeping the vacancy as low as possible is absolutely critical. Doing your weekly meeting with each property manager to go over critical issues, and putting in cost control initiatives and staying on top of the new move-ins is also recommended. Keep the meetings to no more than an hour, and always have an agenda so the property manager has time to prepare what you're going to ask them for, right? An economic slowdown and depression will cause people to substitute expensive rentals for cheaper ones, and it's going to put downward pressure on rents. History has shown that it would also cause people to move in with family or take on a roommate, which further decreases the demand for multifamily rentals as well. Additionally, anything that makes buying a home more cost effective than renting, as well, because people will perceive buying a home as a cheaper option, even though it really isn't. That's another discussion. But as houses become cheaper, those tenants will move out of a rental and become homeowners, decreasing the demand for rentals. Okay, something else to think about as well. Anyway, what do you think? Have you ever applied any of these tactics I just laid out? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if you like this, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, check out the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We're putting out as much material as we can every day to get new content out to you to help you build success in the world of multifamily. Anyway, be great, guys, and talk to you soon.